I was standing in our hallway when I realized she hadn't spoken to me in 28 days. Not a word. Not a glance that lasted longer than a second. Not even the courtesy of anger. She moved through the house like I was furniture, an inconvenience, something she'd already decided to replace. That morning, day 29, I placed a bouquet of white lilies on the kitchen counter. Fresh, perfect, the kind she used to love before she stopped pretending. Inside the bouquet, hidden beneath the stems, was an envelope. By the time she opened it, our marriage was already dead. She just didn't know it yet. We weren't always like this. There was a time she used to wait for me by the door when I came home. She used to text me stupid things in the middle of the day just to remind me I existed. We built routines, shared jokes no one else understood. We planned futures in bed at night like architects drunk on optimism. I trusted her, fully, quietly, without backup plans. That was my first mistake. The silence didn't start suddenly. It crept in. A delayed reply here, a cold shoulder there, then whole days where my presence barely registered. When I asked what was wrong, she said she was tired, stressed, busy. I believed her, because believing was easier than admitting I was being erased in my own home. 28 days without affection changes a man, not loudly, internally. You start listening more than speaking, watching patterns, noticing what's missing. And what was missing was me. The first crack appeared on day 11. She came home late, too late for the excuse she rehearsed. Her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. I didn't pick it up. I didn't need to. The name on the lock screen told me everything. A man I didn't know. No last name, just a first name and a fire emoji. That night, I didn't confront her. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I sat at the edge of the bed and decided something important. If she was going to lie to me, I was going to listen carefully. From that point on, every emotion became discipline. I noticed the new perfume, the way she angled her phone away from me, the sudden girls' nights that aligned perfectly with her emotional absence. I checked phone records, cloud backups, shared accounts she forgot were still shared. She wasn't careful. She thought I was weak. That was her second mistake. I found messages that weren't explicit, but they didn't need to be. Inside jokes, late-night check-ins, plans written between the lines, a relationship hiding behind plausible deniability. And then there was the calendar invite, a hotel, 2 hours away, marked as conference. I screenshotted everything, backed it up, printed copies, labeled dates. Pain turned into precision. While she ignored me, I planned. I met with a lawyer during my lunch breaks, quietly, calmly. I learned what silence was worth in court. I moved money she wouldn't notice. I separated accounts slowly, invisibly. I made lists, assets, timelines, exit strategies. I installed a camera in the garage under the excuse of security. It caught her leaving late at night dressed for someone who wasn't me. I let her believe I was shrinking. That was her third mistake. Day 29 arrived like a ceremony. I woke up early, showered, dressed well, not for her, but for myself. I bought the flowers from her favorite shop. The owner smiled and said, "Special occasion?" I nodded, something like that. The envelope inside the bouquet was thick, too thick for a note. I left the flowers on the counter where she couldn't miss them. Then I went to work like it was any other day. She texted me an hour later, "What's this?" I didn't reply. She opened the envelope alone. Inside were printed screenshots, hotel confirmations, messages, a timeline, dates she thought were forgotten, lies she assumed were buried. At the bottom was a single line, typed cleanly. "I noticed you stopped seeing me, so I started seeing everything." She called me 12 times. I let it ring. That evening, I came home early. She was sitting at the kitchen table, the flowers wilted, papers scattered like evidence at a crime scene. Her face was pale in a way I'd never seen before. For the first time in 28 days, she looked at me. "Please," she said, just one word, cracked, small. I set my keys down slowly, sat across from her, calm, collected. I didn't want to interrupt your silence, I said. You seemed committed to it. She cried, explained, apologized in paragraphs, blamed loneliness, blamed miscommunication, blamed me, just a little. I waited until she was finished. Then I slid my own envelope across the table. Divorce papers, already filed. The look on her face wasn't heartbreak. It was shock at losing control. I told her I knew everything, that I had proof of more than she imagined, that the lawyer advised me to say nothing more, and I intended to listen. For once, she had nothing to say. I packed a bag, just essentials, paused at the door. You ignored me for 28 days, I said. I planned for 29. Then, her affair partner disappeared the moment things became public. Funny how bravery evaporates when consequences arrive. Friends took sides quietly. Truth has a way of moving faster when it's documented. The house sold, accounts closed, the life we built dismantled without drama. She tried to reach me weeks later, said she finally understood, said she missed me. I didn't respond, because the version of me she missed no longer existed. Now when I think back on those 28 days, I don't feel anger, I feel gratitude. She taught me the power of silence, of patience, of not reacting when someone expects you to break. She showed me that revenge doesn't need to scream, it just needs to be final. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't beg, I didn't chase. I watched, I prepared, and I walked away clean. The flowers were never about forgiveness. They were a marker, the moment she realized she underestimated the wrong man.